The opening scene begins with a narrative describing how God vanished 25 years ago, and how the angels blamed humans for the same. After that, the archangel, Gabriel, waged a war on the earth, intending to wipe out the entire human race. Although most higher angels refused to partake in this conflict, the lower angels called 8-Ball joined Gabriel in his genocide. Fortunately, the greatest archangel, Michael, chose to ally with humans, thus preventing their extinction. Word spread that Michael had saved a newborn baby, who was considered to be a chosen protector of mankind. Now, Michael lives among humans in one of the strongholds in Vega, the fortified remains of Las Vegas. In the present timeline, we are introduced to Vega's Archangel Corporal, Alex Lannon, who is wandering around the outskirts of the city. He is probably in search of 8-Balls, who are humans possessed by angels and led by Gabriel. Alex finds 3 of them playing cards in an abandoned casino. One of them creepily invites him to join them, but Alex responds with a bullet right in its head. Enraged, the other 2 8-Balls start chasing him. Alex hastily retreats back to his truck and drives towards the base. One of the 8-Balls reveals its wings and continues pursuing him through the empty roads. As he nears the fortress, an anti-aircraft gun placed above the fortress locks its target on the angel and blows it up in midair. In the aftermath of this event, Alex is taken to Archangel Michael, who admonishes him for going on an unauthorized mission. As a punishment, he beats him up with a whip while reminding the fortress's rule: for the protection and good of all, gates are inviolable. Shortly after, General Edward Reeson intervenes and asks Alex to go back to his duty. The following evening, Alex goes to meet the general's daughter, Claire, who is his secret lover. He proposes fleeing Vega, as he doesn't think her father will agree for their marriage due to their differing classes. Turns out that all citizens in Vega are differentiated with several classes, Alex being V2, while Claire is higher than that. Nonetheless, she is hopeful that her father will agree and intends to talk to him first. Their conversation is soon interrupted by a higher-ranking officer, William, who reminds Alex that he isn't allowed to have a private chat with Claire. This prompts our hero to leave the place at once. Back to his barracks, Alex is approached by a starving lower-class girl, Bixby, whom he offers some of his food. He also promises to take her away from the fortress and lead her to a new place where people will be treated equally. Later on, the soldiers watch the arrival of Erica and her young associate, Roan, who are the delegation from another stronghold called Helena. They're welcomed by Consul David, who then gives Erica a tour of the Vega fortress. He also shows her an advanced nuclear reactor, leaving her astonished for a moment. She offers 500 brides in exchange for the very technology so that she can build another reactor in Helena. That night, Claire goes to talk to her father about marriage. But before she can broach the subject, he shares his decision to step down from military dictatorship, believing that Vega has now become super strong and stable. However, Claire tries to convince him to reconsider his decision because she doesn't think the people are ready to lead themselves. She also fears that the evil David and his son, William, will take full control of the town. The next morning, Claire summons Alex under the pretense of work and whispers in his ears, agreeing to run away from Vega. Afterwards, he is taken to Michael's room where he's suddenly attacked by Jeep, a warrior who has been missing for over a decade. They fight until Alex wins and Jeep happily tells Michael that he has trained his boy well. Here, it's revealed that Jeep is none other than Alex's father, who abandoned him in his childhood. Alex is understandably upset and storms off, not wanting to hear anything from him. Later that day, Michael organizes a meeting with high-ranking officials, where Jeep reveals himself to be still alive. He has some mystical tattoos on his body, which he's still unable to decipher yet. Jeep reveals to everyone that Gabriel is amassing a huge army of angel soldiers in order to wage another war against the remnants of mankind. In addition, he has managed to persuade some of the higher angels to join him in this war. Michael then tells them about the Chosen One, but David refuses to believe in it. Despite the looming threat, the consul insists on holding the annual Jubilee to celebrate Vega's success as a society. The scene then cuts to the event day, and David walks to the mic to address the townspeople. While he recounts the moments from their past, Alex is approached by his father, who hands him a picture of his mother. Alex, who hasn't seen his mom until now, becomes overwhelmed with emotions upon seeing her picture. Not long after, the consul makes a big announcement regarding the engagement of his son, William, with Claire, which leaves the latter shocked. To add to the surprises, David unveils an 8-ball, the lone survivor from the group which Alex confronted in the first scene. This angel is brought to the arena for a fight against one of Vega's fighters, Thomas. In an unexpected turn of events, Gabriel uses his supernatural power to possess the angel's body and break free from the chains before killing Thomas. The possessed angel then leaps into the crowd, setting everyone in panic. Michael somehow manages to kill the 8-ball, but the threat isn't neutralized yet as a horde of winged angels, led by Furiad, invade the fortress. Amidst the commotion, Alex collects Bixby and Claire to leave the city, but the latter insists on staying, claiming that the city needs them. The trio then head to the control room where all the high-ranking officials have gathered to discuss their next move. In the meantime, Michael engages in a one-on-one duel with Furiad, both showcasing their exceptional combat skills. Eventually, Michael gains the upper hand, but before he can deliver a final blow, the other angels damage their nuclear reactor, causing a temporary blackout throughout the city. The darkness distracts Michael and Furiad uses this opportunity to flee the scene. In the control room, Roan unexpectedly stabs Jeep in his stomach and escapes through an air vent, revealing him to be an angel. In his final moments, Jeep reveals that Alex is the chosen one and expresses his faith in him. As he dies, the mystical tattoos get transferred to his son, entrusting the unknown powers to him. Soon after, David orders his soldiers to arrest Erica, deeming her to be a traitor. In the aftermath, Alex has a private conversation with Michael, who confirms that he is the same newborn baby whom he saved in the past. He also discloses how he trained Alex to become a corporal so that he can keep him under close observation. Furthermore, Michael explains that the tattoos are written in an unknown language and that Alex must learn how to decipher them because they'll guide him on how to end the war. Despite his reluctance in assuming his new identity as the savior of mankind, Alex stares at a portion of tattoos which forms a warning: beware of those closest to you. While conducting the final rituals for his father, Alex reminisces about their shared moments like playing basketball during his childhood. One day, while playing, they were ambushed by some angels. Jeep quickly sent Alex to hide inside, while he started gunning down the assailants one after another, ultimately saving his life. In the present, the Council of Senators convenes to discuss the repair of the nuclear reactor, essential as half of their defenses are down. Additionally, David's reckless action of capturing an 8-ball is questioned by the council, who then decide to call an audit of his place. On the other hand, Alex is clearly having a hard time coming to terms with his new responsibility and wants to leave the city. He goes to meet Claire and urges them to leave Vega right away. However, she tries to convince him otherwise, citing their responsibility to protect the town. Alex isn't concerned at all and instead regards Vega as a cruel city that abandoned him to become a low-class V1 when his dad left. When Claire remains resolute in her decision, he ends up calling her a spoiled princess who knows nothing about the outside world. This infuriates her, so she orders him to get out. In the next scene, Michael summons Gabriel to meet in private. The two then exposition their motives. Gabriel thinks God disappeared due to Earth's failure, while Michael believes that Gabriel is envious that God favored the humans more than angels. Gabriel then reveals his intent to launch the second wave of the Extinction War. But Michael vows that he won't let him harm any of the souls. Back in the Vega, Erica and her congregation are undressed and imprisoned in a cell. A while later, she is summoned by David for a brief conversation. He blames Helena for Jeep's murder, but Erica protests their innocence. She asserts that the Queen of Helena, Evelyn, worships the divine female and would never side with a male deity like Gabriel. As they converse, we learn that David needs something from Helena. He then proposes a deal for their freedom in exchange for their Air Force. However, Erica doesn't think twice before turning down the offer and instead warns him of retaliation from Evelyn if any harm befalls her congregation. Meanwhile, Claire talks to her father over breakfast and refuses to marry William. Despite knowing that she loves Alex, he believes that they should think of the potential benefit they can get from the marriage. Disgusted by his mentality, Claire storms off, adamantly refusing to marry William. Edward gets up to stop her, but he seems to have a heart disease, prompting him to sit back down and rest. The following day, Alex receives a new assignment to serve for the House of Consul David. As he makes his way to the consul's residence, he is approached by Michael, who insists on a private conversation. When Alex refuses, Michael grabs him by his collar and takes him to the top floor of a tower. He then warns Alex of the danger posed by Gabriel, who is aware of his identity as the Chosen One. However, Alex doesn't seem to trust him. He further reveals about the warning he saw on his tattoo and tells him to stay away from him. Following this, Alex returns to his duty where he accidentally bumps into a maid named Felicia, causing her to drop her tray. As he helps her pick it up, she notices the tattoos on his hands, which makes her realize that he's the chosen one. Felicia then goes to the kitchen and takes some time to think of her next move. She then pulls out her wings, revealing her to be one of Gabriel's angels. In the meantime, Alex visits Claire and apologizes for his earlier behavior. He then makes up with her by agreeing to stay in Vega and work together. Their conversation eventually takes a romantic turn, and they end up spending the night together, making love. Early in the morning, Alex prepares to leave when he's suddenly ambushed by Felicia. The angel attacks Claire as well as little Bixby, who has been living there for a couple of days. Following this, a fierce fight ensues between Alex and Felicia, with the latter gaining the upper hand. But our boy digs down deep and manages to set her wings on fire, forcing her to flee the scene. This incident makes Alex realize that being a chosen one, he is a great threat to his loved ones. As a result, he decides to go far away from the city, which he believes is the only way to protect his people. Later, while packing his belongings, he is approached by Claire, who appears to have sustained some minor injuries. She insists on accompanying him, but he refuses because it'll only endanger her life. He then bids her a final goodbye and drives away from the town. Simultaneously, in the cell, Erica has her girls rub their nails on the hard stone floor, extracting as much poison as possible. Turns out that they are plotting something to free themselves from the captivity. But in an unexpected turn of events, Erica uses the same poison to slaughter her own congregation. After this, she summons David to present with an ultimatum: label her girls as traitors and release her, or face accusations of their murder and provoke war. In the final scene, we see Edward, who goes to see his lover outside the fortress. She initially appears to be a hooker but eventually reveals herself to be an 8-ball.